Is there like an SOP action plan that they have?
No, not really. So there was one gentleman, I forgot who it was. Do you guys remember the guy from
You were there, Joe, right?
Oh, the attorney, Phil Ryan. Phil Ryan.
The attorney had more. He had more of like a dialed in PowerPoint step by step. He was a good presentator.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Actually, I took away a lot from there. I actually got to email him and I want to get his presentation because a lot of that stuff I didn't realize. I didn't realize that, you can be sued with with all the sexual relations within the organization. I mean, I knew that, but the way he broke it down.
Complain about this?
We'll get back. Yeah.
You're in trouble. But he also broke down how you can have your entity in a holding company, and then that's all new to me. You know what I mean? And obviously to get less risk.
Absolutely.
Degrees of separation.
Yeah, degrees of separation.
One of his take-homes was you're more likely to get sued by your employees than your customers.
Yeah.
So we worry about the agreements with the customers. But it's, unfortunately, your own employees.
You were there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, look.
All right, so you're also a consultant in the elite. Be shameless plug. Just don't be ashamed.
Yeah, Joe Jodovich, Technical Pest Solutions. We write protocols, SOPs. And this conference didn't dive as much into that. It was more 30,000-foot level.
Yeah, so it's a high-level overview.
Yeah. And it was a more expensive conference. I want to say it was about $1,700 a person. But what we were just talking about with that is I kind of compare it to going to like a high-end restaurant. The clientele is different. Probably one of the best things about it is 150 people that are business owners that want to grow. Most people are in that 1 million to 10 million range. And getting more granular, one of them that I took some stuff away from was I've always talked about, the best techs aren't necessarily the best service managers.
Right.
And I see some people, they just keep promoting their best techs, and you look back 4 years later, you fired 4 of your best techs because you promoted them, they couldn't cut it. And what if you still had those as techs and hired a separate service manager? You'd be golden. And they went into some of the details of, having the techs know their KPIs. Most companies don't do that. Just send them out, and the manager, if they're not performing, the manager will talk to them about, hey, your cancellation rate's high or this and that. But they get them to know some of those KPIs. And then if they can start regurgitating, talking about their cancellation rate, and they can manage themselves and their numbers, and then that's going to be somebody who can manage other people too. So basically, the take-home was have them earn their position as a service manager.
Yeah, it's like you don't know how to manage the business. Everybody thinks just about managing the people, but then nobody manages the business.
Right.
Yeah. That's what you're seeing constantly is keep hiring techs that are good techs, and then you take them out of the field, and then they can't manage people, they can't manage it. And they don't, to be honest, it's fair. They usually don't have to train it either. Nobody groomed them for that role. They just dump them there.
Yeah, because the owner or the one doing the training, they just got to figure it out as they went. They really don't know what they're doing either. They might be just a good personality and pull it off. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to phrase it. Not that we're idiots, but by the seat of the pants, we figured out how to be successful. And how do you tell somebody else, hey, this is how you run a team?
And we expect everybody else to follow it. They don't have the DNA.
Yeah, they were kind of saying, hey, it's not necessarily ruling out personality tests and other things like that. But, doing this with KPIs and numbers, and if they can look at the numbers and they understand it, that's who you want for a service manager if that's the majority of their duty. So that's probably one of my biggest takeaways.
I think, too, the way they mentioned how, and I'm guilty of this with my employees because I really care about my employees' career probably more than they do. And one of the things that they mentioned was don't do that. I forgot who it was that was on which speaker it was, but they were saying basically that if you care about your employees' career more than they do, and you're putting too much energy into that, you're losing because if they don't care, they're never going to grow. And so you have to move on. And I thought that was to me, that was an eye-opener because I'm really passionate about my employees. And it's hard because, especially because I'm a family-owned business and I care about the people that are around and I really want to make, and, look, if somebody just wants to be a tech and that's all they want to do, that's fine. They might be an excellent tech. But if you have hopes for them to be something more in your organization and they don't want to do it, but you have to figure that out. Yep. 100%. But for someone like me, it's hard because I don't want to give up. And I keep trying to coach them and I keep trying to make it, but then and then they have to want it. Until they want it.
You don't want it for them.
Yeah, you got to stop until they want it. And then when they show you that they want it, obviously that was a big one. But to me, I think the other thing was just how they, at this conference, right, they look at it from a straight business aspect where they're looking at the numbers and they're dialing in laser sharp, laser focused. Like, what are your cancels this month? What are your sales? What is, like, every KPI, every number is being looked at. Whereas, like, for me, I'm more looking at the service side because I'm a smaller organization. I really care about my customers, right? And it's hard for me to really look at the business aspect when it is a business, when I'm so focused on service. And so, but now I take it away and I'm like, okay, I really need to look at my numbers. I need to look at the data. I really need to, this is a business. Like, I need to make money, right? But I still care about my customers. And as I scale, I want to make sure there's a balance, but I really took away that it's time to really, like, focus on your numbers and really, you're a business at the end of the day and you want to make money. And so that's what I took away from it a lot.
Joe, you do a ton of business consulting. When you're talking, we're like, who do you deal with mainly? Is it solo operators? Is it a 3, 4, 5-man company?
Yeah.
That they've already figured this out, because what I see most of the time when I'm talking stuff, they don't have any numbers. Like,
Yeah.
They don't even know what QuickBooks says. They have no idea, like, what were your numbers after? Well, I think I'm doing 12 and up.
Yeah.
Give me the last time.
Okay.
It wasn't 12, it was 9.0.
Yeah.
You know, they're assuming it's this number, and they don't even know the number.
Yeah.
So what did you experience in that? What did you do to people that?
Gotcha. And for the demographics I work with, I will say different demographics of companies have different needs. So smaller companies, I'm working with them quite a bit on making agreements and just getting off the ground with basic stuff like that. And I don't know if we talked about it before. My wife's an attorney.
Yeah.
I've sucked her into the bug world. Even since we talked last, she's doing a lot more.
Yeah.
So we're tag teaming writing agreements for people. I know Jose and I were talking about that, right now for termite agreements, stuff like that.
I'm going to have my exam in the next 2 months. So.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I'll be coming.
I'll be calling you about lines.
Yeah, there we go. I've got templates for wildlife, for the regular pest control law, and a bit of everything. And kind of tag teaming it is she's the lawyer, she knows the law. I know pest control, 25 plus years experience. So things that I was seeing in the past, one, a lot of the lawyers don't call people back because they make the big money fighting in the trials, not write contracts. And then two, they don't know pest control. So things like discussions like we've had, like, I'm going to want to bill monthly, but do service quarterly.
Yeah.
And lawyers, they don't understand that. Or if you got different services, you want to do an add-on mosquito, they don't know how to set up that business side of it. So that's the one angle. Now, that's mostly the smaller companies. If it's just you and one guy, you don't really need procedures yet. If you're growing fast, you can. I've done that for some companies that are like equity firms and they're shoot for stars.
On my page, it's like case deal. It's not elaborate. It's there that they can go back and follow.
Yeah. And even mine are only 2 pages because what I find if you get longer than that, nobody reads it. And you waste time. Yeah, perfect. 1 page, front, back, or digital PDF. But usually probably the bread and butter of my clients are usually in that kind of 1 to 10 million range. That they, $1 million, you got about 4 employees. Typically, you can manage 4. Okay, you start getting closer to 8, about that $2 million mark. That's where everybody plateaus. And because that's where 8 people, that's about what we got around the table. If everybody here was techs, you can't talk to them all on, hey, what are you doing? And by the time, I get, say, Dennis going right, Franklin's not out of bed yet. And his customers are calling. And so the wheels start falling off. And that's when you got to start getting service managers up and helping you out. Everybody's got to do the same procedures. Yeah, exactly. So the service manager for the shock absorber, your SOPs. Go ahead, Rolly.
I was going to ask you, is it ratio like 5 to 1?
For how many?
So like I said, if you have 20 techs, you have 30 managers?
Yeah, no, great question. A small company, usually 1 service manager with the 4 employees. That's usually about where it starts, 4 to 6. If you get cranking and you're several $1 million, you get more efficient, and that's where usually 1 service manager can run 10 techs. Now, this is also talking normal general household pest control. You get into, say, wildlife, where a lot of times it's a 2-man crew, but they might be doing $15,000 jobs, and it's a little more technical. Those might not be where a service manager can just turn over, say, 2 green techs and say, all right, go take care of this job. They might have to be more involved. But general pest control is probably the smoothest. Lawn's a little tougher, termites a little tougher, but somewhere between 4 and 10 techs, depending on their size.
It can spark transition from general pest to wildlife and inspire just the whole system.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of challenges with wildlife.
Visits.
Yeah, I've learned to keep wildlife techs separate across pest control tests. Don't mix them together.
No.
You mix it together, it's going to drive you nuts. And it's just going to create, like a spaghetti bowl. It's going to get all messed up.
Yeah, well, yeah.